19-year-old Russian figure skater Maya Kromik, who trains with Adelya Petrosyan, has married 27-year-old Adelya Petrosyan, the bronze medalist at the 2015 Russian Championships. Kromik's main achievements include silver and bronze medals at the International Grand Prix Series in the 2021-2022 season. Petrosyan's student also won the Budapest Trophy and Warsaw Cup Challenger events. Kromik missed the 2022-2023 season due to a hand injury. Petrosyan's student returned to the ice in the 2023-2024 season, but was unable to compete for medals. She placed fifth at both of her Russian Grand Prix events and finished last at the Russian Championships. She has not competed since. Adelya Petrosyan has finally spoken honestly about the Milan Olympics. A week has passed since Adelya Petrosyan's performance in the women's individual event. All the athletes and coaches have returned home, and the coach found time to speak out. In an exclusive interview with ACO, Petrosyan broke down the judging at the games, commented on Adelya Petrosyan's quadruple toe loop, and suggested what her skater lacked in Milan. Thomas Bach also got some flack. Adelya Petrosyan still remembers the former IOC president's comments from the Beijing Olympics and is demanding an official apology. On Petrosyan's late arrival at the Olympics, it was Adelya who decided she wanted to arrive as late as possible because I was there earlier. And the girls had 2 or 3 practices a day. And, of course, it was possible to practice there. It's a certain limitation, it's a single turn on, you choose either you have the short program turn on or the free skate turn on. And it's not always when it's convenient for you. It could be 6 minutes into the warm-up when you're not yet ready for the jumps, but you're already getting the momentum going. So, it entails certain limitations. Here, of course, there are 3 hours of ice and as many turns on as needed, and that's why Adele asked to arrive practically right at the start. So, there was one general practice, and that was it, competition time. It was Adele's decision. I tried to be very gentle, without pressure, not to dissuade her, but to say that there would be practice. But she wanted to arrive at the start. She thought it would be more peaceful. It's the athlete's choice. On her reaction to the Olympic results, of course, I'm upset. We can try to shift the burden onto other athletes. Say, Anna Shcherbakova. She also struggled with quads during the Olympic season. And at the Russian Championships and even at the previous World Championships, we couldn't land a single quad. So she became world champion without a quad. There weren't any clean skates. But she found the confidence, the desire, the burning gaze that said this was hers. She wouldn't let go. Sasha Trusova took on such risky content at the Olympics because she was fighting for medals, fighting for first place. Of course, that's valuable, but in reality, neither did we get weaker there, nor did the situation change. A quad isn't something you just go out and buy. It's not something you'll just learn, no matter how much you want it. It definitely requires character, an overwhelming desire, and, of course, physical strength. We can teach, guide, give opportunities, provide ice. We know the path, but there are some things we simply can't do. We paint with the colors we have. There weren't any other colors in our mix right now, just what we have. And Adele is wonderful. She knows how to dance, she knows how to convey a character. She also has many positive qualities, on what Adele lacked at the Olympics. In the warm-up before the free skate, Adele performed a perfect quadruple toe loop. That means the jump is there, the jump was there in competition. But was it there when we assumed the starting position, when we were nervous, when we really want to perform it, and need to go and execute it right from the start of the program? And here, let's say, we as coaches probably weren't able to discipline Adele into this training routine when these competitive skates are held. When it's a one-time effort, when you can't give up, that's what was missing. I think that's what was missing. That kind of, let's say, competitive practice. I don't know. It's a competitive skate, it's all built up in the training process. Of course, we wanted that understanding the Olympics are here, but we understand that. For me, Adele is still a child. On Petrosyan's triple axel, which disappeared before the games. It was practically non-existent, let's be honest. It showed up in flashes, yes, it did. At the Russian Championships, she could have taken risks with complete confidence, she could have done it there on adrenaline, but it showed up somewhere. The way things turned out, it could have been enough anyway. On whether Petrosyan was judged harshly in Milan. In fact, no matter what anyone says, she was judged very well. She got a level 4 step sequence for the first time in her free skate. She'd never gotten one in our competitions because our judges are stricter and they felt she lacked the core and ribs. And maybe that was true in some places. So they judged generously, and nothing changed for me. That is, if you want to be stronger, if you want to fight for the podium, you need to do Ultra C. If she'd done one toe loop, she would have easily been in third place, and maybe even second, because her components would have improved a bit. Well, most likely, third. If she'd done two toe loops, a clean skate, that would have been first place. There's a joke, I won't tell it, but the motto in that joke is, we know the way, we know how to work. Nothing changed. That is, if you prepare, if you want to stand out, if you want to skate with a little extra, that's how it should be. About not being able to lead Petrosyan to the competition in Beijing and Milan. Again, it's our journalists who know how to get through to people who don't even need to be. And we were already playing it safe, and the IOC was playing it safe. They said, okay, it's okay during training, but it's not necessary for competitions. Maybe if our journalists had behaved more calmly, there wouldn't have been this situation like in China, when at first everything was allowed, and then they said it was better not to. Regarding Thomas Bach's comments about Tutberidze and Valieva in Beijing. At that Olympics, Mr. Bach said that I somehow mishandled Kamila Valieva when she was coming off the ice. Well, it's probably not for him to discuss that. He has other things to do. And I'm still expecting him to apologize officially, and he probably owes me an apology just as officially as he did. Because there was nothing there other than a review of the skate. My primary responsibility is to review the skate with the athlete. And there's no need to overdramatize it. Kamila Valieva finished fourth in the Olympics at that time. For many athletes, getting to the Olympics is a blessing, let alone skating in fourth place. So there's no need to overdramatize it. Yes, that's how she skated. Now Adele finished sixth, so what was there any need to be upset? And what about Milan, eighth? And no one hugged him or consoled him when he came off the ice. But no need to console him, that sport. Regarding Wadahed Vital Banka's remarks about Tutberidze's presence at the Olympics, Mr. Banka said he felt uncomfortable with my presence. I had this fleeting thought, as if I were his ex-girlfriend and had come somewhere without his knowledge, and he was very uncomfortable. These are, in fact, completely personal statements, which, of course, someone like Banka should have kept to himself. Well, I don't know, I apologize for making him uncomfortable with me, with my presence, because I was completely indifferent to his presence at the Olympics. I felt nothing. I was surprised. Actually, I didn't open the news and only heard 2 days later that he felt uncomfortable. I thought, well, at least show me what he looks like. I said, I'll go over and apologize. I even flipped through it so that if I saw him in the crowd, I'd definitely approach him.
Next,